as well. And so I just have to make sure that they're on
Okay, do your stuff. And Facebook too, I think.
Facebook. Last night, Facebook went out, but the streaming and the Roku and the
I can't get you on the YouTube anymore.
really.
YouTube, I have an Apple TV. Hi,
Good
Larissa.
morning.
And
Hi,
Apple
Tom.
TV and YouTube must have had a fight because they're not carrying it. So I watch you on streaming.
Okay, well, as long as you get through somehow.
Right, exactly. How you doing?
Ursula, your hair looks really nice. It's kind of all curly and
Yes.
I don't know. I like it.
It's
I
wet.
was up. I slicked down my hair today. But I was up in North Carolina last week or earlier this week, from Sunday to Thursday. And it was cold at night. It got up, it was lovely during the day, but it was like in the 30s, 40s at night. And my hair and it's very dry. When it's cold, it's dry. And my hair got really straight. And then when I came down here, like this morning, my hair looked like yours until I washed it. But it got all curly when I was down here.
How are your grandkids doing?
Oh, well, I hung out mostly with my grandson, and I had such a good time with him. It was just so nice. I love to hang out with him. Well, today's Torah portion is Kitisa, and we have lots to talk about. As a matter of fact, I use this passage when I'm teaching. I got to make sure my phone is off. When I'm teaching synagogue boards, if they say, Rabbi, can you do a leadership training, something from the Torah about leadership, styles of leadership, I often go to this Torah portion, and you'll see why. There's different kinds of leadership styles, and we're gonna see this emphasized in this story of the golden calf, not one of the better stories, not one of the higher moments for the Jewish people, but we see the difference between Moses. Good morning, good Shabbos, Betty. The difference between Moses' approach to leadership and Aaron, his brother Aaron's approach to leadership. There's Barbara. Good Shabbos, Barbara. So we're going to start off with our blessing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah. So we are in Kitisa, chapter 3. I'm going to read the story, and then we're going to get into it. We're in chapter 32, starting with verse 1 in the book of Exodus. So Moses is up on the mountain getting the Torah, okay? So when the people saw that Moses was so long in coming down from the mountain, the people gathered against Aaron and said to him,
Remember what you have to press to get that.
Come, make us a god.
F something. I don't know what.
Yeah, maybe you could mute just for a little bit. Yeah, there. Oh, maybe I can mute there. There you go.
Sorry. See, I don't see. Do you see my picture?
No, I don't.
The cameras. It says the camera is turned off.
Yeah, it says the camera's turned off. Okay.
Press video.
Yeah. Okay. So they come to Moses. They come to Aaron and they said, "Make us a god to go before us," because Moses is up on the mountain. For that fellow, isn't that they're kind of removing themselves from Moses? That guy, Moses, the leader who brought us from the land of Egypt, we do not know what happened to him. Aaron then said to them, "You men, take off the gold earrings that are on on the ears of your wives, your sons, and your daughters." Hey, guys back then wore earrings. Look at that. "And bring them to me." And all the people took off their gold rings that were in their ears and brought them to Aaron. This he took from them and cast in a mold and made it into a molten calf. And they exclaimed, this is your God, O Israel, who brought you out of the land of Egypt. When Aaron saw this, he built an altar before them, and Aaron announced, tomorrow shall be a festival of the Eternal. Early next day, the people offered up burnt offerings and brought sacrifices of well-being. They sat down to eat and drink and then rose to dance. Now, the word for dance here is interesting, litzachek, which means to be jolly or to laugh. The Eternal One spoke to Moses, hurry down, for your people whom you brought out of the land of Egypt have acted basely. Hi, Marlene. You know, you're up in the mountain, and what are they doing? They're making a golden calf. Oh, they're acting terribly. Don't they have any faith? They have been quick to turn aside from the way I have enjoined upon them. They have made themselves a molten calf, a golden calf, and bowed low to it and sacrificed to it, saying, this is your God, O Israel, who brought you out of the land of Egypt. Okay, so enough of that. We don't need to read any more. Now, here's the question that always, it is a perpetual question within Jewish circles. And it's this. What on earth was Aaron thinking? What was he thinking? Well, hold on. Let me just finish, and then let me just finish the lesson, and then we will discuss it. What was in his mind? And he became the patriarch of the priesthood. He becomes the first high priest. He is kind of a hero in Jewish circles. Only the Aaronite priests, only his family was allowed to carry on the high priesthood. And there are traditionally 3 lines of defense for Aaron, justifications for Aaron. We have them from the Midrash. We have a defense of Aaron from the Midrash, one from Zohar, and certainly medieval commentators justified Aaron. Now, the first line of defense was this. Aaron was playing for time. He was playing for time. He was playing for time, and these were delaying tactics. The people came in a very violent way, and we're going to see how violent it was a little more with a little more detail in a moment. They came and there was no turning them back. And so he said, okay, give me your earrings. Okay, let me make this calf for you. Okay, let me make an altar where you can make sacrifices. Not today, but tomorrow. We're going to have this festival. He's kind of, he didn't have a watch. See, I'm looking at my watch. He kept going, hoping, where's my brother? I'm just delaying. And that's what he was doing. That's one line of defense. There is another line of defense, and I'm going to read from the Talmud now. This is from Sanhedrin 7b. It says, a difference of opinion is expressed by Rabbi Tanchum ben Hanilai, who says that the verse quoted refers only to the story of the golden calf. Okay, what did it actually? Let's see. Okay, so this is how they justify it. He, that is Aaron, saw his cousin, who is also high in in leadership. There was this guy named Hur, who was part of the leadership as well. Aaron saw that Hur was lying slain before him. So the people killed Hur. This, I think he was a cousin or something like that of Aaron. They were violent. They actually killed, and Aaron was sure that they were going to kill him. If I do not obey them, this is what Aaron is thinking. The Talmud kind of gets into his head. If I do not obey them, they will now do unto me as they did unto her, and so will be fulfilled the fear of the prophet. Shall the priest and the prophet be slain in the sanctuary of God, and they will never be forgiven. Better let them worship the golden calf, for which offense they may yet find forgiveness through repentance. If they kill me, the high priest, what's going to happen? They will never be forgiven. They can be forgiven for worshiping the golden calf. There'll be consequences, but that they can be forgiven for. But if they kill me, that I am the representative, of the religion, then they will never be forgiven. And so it's better that they worship the golden calf. Whether you buy that or not, that's the explanation. Now we have an interesting interpretation or approach through Ibn Ezra. Who was Ibn Ezra? Ibn Ezra lived, I don't know, maybe 800 years ago. He was a medieval commentator. And this is what he said. Now, this I find very clever. He said that the golden calf, that the Egel Zahav, in fact, was not an idol. And it was permissible. What they did, the Israelites weren't doing something that was forbidden. They did not see, at least most of them, did not see the calf as a substitute for God. The calf was not a God substitute. What it was a Moses substitute. Was a Moses substitute. You remember, they're worried. Where's this guy Moses? He was leading us. We need some visible sign of a leader. And so is this a rationalization? Is this, you can buy into it or not, but it is very clever. It is saying that it was supposed to be kind of an oracle, that the golden calf was an oracle. Like, you remember the breastplates that they made for the priests later on, the Urim and Tumim, that were given to the high priest? This was supposed to be kind of an oracle. Whether you buy into it or not, it's an interesting explanation. Now, of course, you do see that there were some people who believed it was a god and worshipped it. Ibn Ezra says, when you see at the end, about 3,000, at the end of the story, the earth opens up and about 3,000 people are slain, okay? 3,000 people are punished for the sin. But you remember, there were more than 600,000 people there. So there was a small minority who actually believed it was a god. But most of the Jewish people, Ibn Ezra is saying, saw it as merely a symbol. So whether you buy into any of these explanations or not, that's up to you. But we do see a systematic effort to mitigate, or at least to minimize, Aaron's culpability in all of this, right? And we see that he's not punished. We see, except there's one commentator named Abravanel who says that he eventually is punished for this. Now you can unmute yourself. I can see if you can think of something that where he may have been later on. Maybe most people would say he never seems to be punished, but Abravanel, he doesn't specify, but Abravanel says yes, he was punished. What do you think, Barbara?
Well, I think it was when he lost his sons.
Ah, yes.
But may I stop me if I'm off base too much.
Okay.
Stanley and I were actually studying this week, and we were reading a National Geographic history magazine we got.
Yes.
There was a very well-known god in ancient Egypt represented
Yes.
by the cow.
Ah, yes, absolutely.
Hathor. It was a goddess, Hathor. And it's in this month's magazine. It shows a picture.
Let's see that. Hold it up to bring it closer.
Can
Isn't
you
that
see
one?
it all? And this is interesting. I'm thinking if Aaron was our, highest priest, that he might have been familiar with, and the people in general, they were certainly in some way familiar with some of the Egyptian
Yes.
gods. They had been
Yes.
living there. So I just, this whole first few days, Stanley and I have been thinking about this calf might have been a buy-in. They knew of
Yes.
this calf, the cow
Yes,
already. And somehow,
absolutely. Yes, absolutely, Barbara. Anyone else want to add anything? Barbara, you're right on the money, and a lot of scholars have said it precisely what you said. Stanley, what do you think?
Well, they lived 400 years with the Egyptians,
Mm-hmm.
and they didn't have a god that they could see,
Mm-hmm.
which anybody with common sense say, well, why should I believe in a god I can't see if
Mhm.
everybody around me says the gods are in animals?
yeah.
Yes.
So they brought that with them out of Egypt,
Mm-hmm.
that theology. And that's
Yes.
one of the things that they couldn't go to the land of Canaan, the promised land, to get that ideology out of that generation.
Yes. Now, getting back to what Barbara said, and Barbara, maybe tuning into what Abravanel, the medieval commentator, said, we see something terrible happens to him. He loses Nadav and Abihu, his sons, who show a lack of discipline and go into the they went into the Holy of Holies with an Esh Zara, with a foreign or an alien fire, which may, looking at that term, an alien fire, were they introducing some foreign idolatrous pagan practice? You might, like their dad allowed, you can see a certain connection there and how he was punished. But nonetheless, there's no question that he is lifted up in Jewish history as a great hero. In a vote, we read, this is what Hillel said, Have me talmidav shel Aharon, ohev shalom v'rodef shalom, ohev et habriut v'karvan LaTorah. So Hillel said, be thou of the disciples of Aaron, loving peace and pursuing peace, loving thy fellow creatures and drawing them nigh or drawing them near to the law. So he is elevated, there's no question. But when we look when we look at the Torah just as it is written, we go, where was his backbone? Where was his backbone? And how could he have allowed this? We get a hint of his personality when we look at Hillel. Hillel says, "Be like Aaron. Be a pursuer of peace. Love your fellow human beings, your fellow creatures, like Aaron, and bring people nearer to the Torah." But you can go, well, wait a minute. Didn't he like kind of allow them to leave the Torah by worship? Or did he in a way bring them nearer the Torah? There are agadic passages of Aaron turning sinners into believers. There are a lot of passages in rabbinic literature where he stops people from sinning, and he brings them closer to the Torah with his peaceful, non-confrontational kind of approach. In the Sifra, which is a midrash on the book of Leviticus, it says of Aaron, he never said to anyone, "You have sinned." He never called anybody. He never confronted anybody saying, "You're a sinner." That wasn't his approach. His approach was a gentler one. Which it was quite different. It was quite different from Moses. Moses was a confronter. Moses was a stickler for the rules. There wasn't a lot of give with Moses. Moses would not, you can't imagine Moses having dealt with this insurrection and these people demanding a golden calf in the same way that Aaron did. Now, we turn to the last of the prophets was Malachi, or in English you say Malachi, and it speaks of, this is Malachi was a prophet, and of course God speaks through the prophets. And in Malachi we read the following with regard to the priests, which would be reflective of Aaron. "I had with him a covenant of life and well-being, which I gave to him, and of reverence, which he showed me, for he stood in awe of my name. Proper rulings were in his mouth, and nothing perverse was on his lips. He served me with complete loyalty and held many back from iniquity." Now you could argue, how could you say that about Aaron? He held many back from iniquity. If we go back to that second justification, hey, if they would have committed sins that were even worse than the golden calf had they murdered the priest, murdered the high priest in the sanctuary. It would have been absolutely unforgivable. So in a way, so here in Malachi, it says he held them back from sin. He backed up. He did what would they say in wartime, a tactical retreat, sort of moving back and then stopping them from doing something even worse. It says, "For the lips of a priest guard knowledge, and men seek ruling from his mouth, for he is a messenger of the Lord of hosts." Okay, good. Okay, so we see this. We see again, I'm going to go back to Sanhedrin. There is a very interesting Sanhedrin in the Talmud. There is a debate in Sanhedrin about this very matter of the matter of whose approach to leadership is better, Moses or Aaron? They actually have this debate. And when I am asked to do a presentation on styles of leadership growing out of the Torah, I more or less I often use this passage. It says, it actually argues. I'm not going to read it. I'm just going to tell you. It argues about the law, halakha, and arbitration. The issue is, if you're a rabbi, you're a rabbinic court, and litigants come to you, you give them a choice. You give them a choice. You say to them, I can make a ruling with the strictly according to the law. That's one choice you have. Or we can do arbitration. That is, I'll more or less set the, we're not going to do it strictly according to the law. I can make that judgment if you like. Or listen, can we settle this with you coming halfway and you coming halfway, and you meet in the middle? Arbitration. And they even refer in this argument that the rabbis have about what is better, arbitration or a strict interpretation of the law, they point to this week's Torah portion. And they say this is that arbitration was the way of Aaron, the way of peace. Now, Moses was about mishpat, which is the law. This is the law. Aaron was about shalom, was about, let's see if we can come to an equitable, peaceful solution to this. Now, in Zechariah, which is the second to the last book in the Hebrew Bible, I'm giving you a lot of passages today, aren't I? Chapter 8, verse 16, we have kind of a resolution to what is better, mishpat, the law, or shalom, arbitration. These are the things that you are to do. Speak the truth to one another, render true and perfect justice in your gate, and do not contrive evil against one another, and do not love perjury. Okay, so it says, it uses the term, it says, emet umishpat shalom shiftu b'sharechem. Which means establish mishpat shalom, which is law and peace, peaceful law in a sense. The term is, they don't, in Zechariah, it's not asking us to change. It's not asking us to choose mishpat, law, over shalom. It's saying mishpat shalom, bring them together. So what does this mean? Mishpat shalom, that you need a combination. You can't be totally wishy-washy. You need the structure that Moses provided the people. You need somebody to call you on the rules. You can't just do everything willy-nilly. We have a system in Judaism, we have a system of justice. But that having been said, justice has to be administered in a way that reflects the sensibilities of Aaron, meaning shalom. You apply justice with a sense of arbitration. You need a combination of both. What you have here is, simply put, if there is no justice, that is, if there's no law, there can be no peace, right? You got to have some structure. But if there is no peace, there's no law. You need, it's mishpat shalom. You bring them together. So when I do this, when I'm teaching a synagogue board about this, you listening, Barbara and Ursula? Okay, you're listening. Okay, I say, you need a combination of being Aaron, and you need a combination of being Moses. Real leadership, and this is the tough, leadership is a tough thing. It really is. But leadership is the ability to hold together peace and law, peace and truth, in a sense. You need to have a little bit of Moses in you, and you need to have a little bit of Aaron in you to be a full and wise leader. I think this goes for us, not only if you're on a synagogue board, but in a family, in a, if you're on a what do you call it? A condo board, right? If, in an office, anywhere where you are dealing with other people, you need a combination of both.
In all of life, we deal with people. We have to have that combination, of
Yes.
law and order and peace.
Yes.
Shalom bayit.
Shalom bayit. Mishpat shalom in Zechariah. Zechariah seems to bring them together. If you want to have a good society, if you are only a stickler for the law, you can be very harsh. Sometimes the law does, has some sharp edges.
Makes you cruel sometimes.
Yes.
You learn that as a leader. When you're a leader, you learn how that happens.
Sometimes the law is perfect. You just go, well, here's the rule. Okay, guys, nothing I can do about it. We got to, Ursula, unmute yourself so we can hear you. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good thing. I agree. What Aaron did, it was kind of buying time, distracting, and in a way, of course, bring the people together with one idea. However, Moses came and destroyed the
Yes,
tablets on,
right away.
and that part I'm confused.
There is an explanation for this, okay? The rabbis go, how could he have destroyed the tablets? Woo! And the explanation is this. Right at the beginning of the Ten Commandments, it says, thou shalt not make graven images, right? Right?
Mm-hmm.
If he had given them the Torah, if he had given it to them, if he had read it to them and said, this is the law, then they would have been responsible. They would have had to have been held responsible for violating one of the first laws of the Torah. Don't make graven images. When he saw them doing this, he says, they haven't received the Torah yet. Their liability is questionable. They should know better, but they haven't yet received the law. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to toss down those laws so no one can ever say, they received the Ten Commandments, those Jews, and they violated right off the bat.
First one.
So that's the explanation why he destroyed the tablets, just so the people would not see them and the people would not yet be held responsible to obey them.
And yet, I understand what Ursula said in your response, but I'm thinking that Moses has had a rashness
Yes.
about him. You know, and
Yes.
I'm thinking about when he killed the Egyptian
Right.
and then quickly ran away.
Ran away.
Like, yes, quickly.
Yes.
And like he does things almost, I want to say without thinking at first, you know,
Yes.
jumps in too
Yes.
fast. Maybe that's what, maybe.
Yes.
Ursula-
Impulsive.
Yes.
He's impulsive.
Impulsive, thank
Yes.
you, thank you.
Yes.
You're welcome.
And so I don't, you know, it's
Mhm.
hard, but I also want to throw out the fact, you know, they say there's a
course.
certain kind of leader for a certain time, you know,
Yes.
you know, and I was thinking about World War II and all, I was hearing some things about Churchill, how he was the right person to lead Britain at that time. And, you know, sometimes you need this strictness and sometimes you need the, you know, a little more latitude to
Yeah.
win
You
the
know, yeah, you know, the bad word that comes out of the 1930s is the word appeasement. Appeasement. Remember, Chamberlain
Yes.
goes to Berlin, and he gets a guarantee from Hitler that Hitler is not going to has no more territorial designs. He's not going to invade any more countries after he's taken the Sudetenland away from Czechoslovakia. And you know what? Sometimes, you know, appeasement is, you know, obviously was the wrong tactic with Hitler. You know, he read Hitler the wrong way. But sometimes making a compromise isn't such a bad thing. You know, appeasement. I don't like the word appeasement, but compromise.
I like
sometimes-
compromise much better.
Yeah, you know,
It
again,
has a promise.
I think in hindsight, we can
Evidence.
all look at Chamberlain and said, boy, you did not read this guy right. You did
Mhm.
not read and history proved Churchill to be right. I mean, you know, but we have 2020 hindsight. Maybe, you know, Chamberlain got on board with the war effort as soon as you know, he had to step down from power. I mean, Stanley is probably has something to add to this, but he supported Churchill when you know, he had to step down from power. He was wrong. I guess he had to, as they say, eat humble pie, crow. What is eat crow? Is that a term? I don't know.
Yeah.
You correct.
You know, and it was serious. Sometimes you need a Churchill, and again, Chamberlain, whose name is you know, every time you raise it, you go, oh, everybody was, no, you don't want to be like a Chamberlain. Sometimes that's not such a bad thing. In the right circumstances, dealing with the right people, in the right context, sometimes you make a compromise. Stanley, what were you going to say?
It all depends who you're dealing with.
Yes.
And the word is trust.
Yeah.
Without trust, you have absolutely nothing.
Nothing at all. I
Yeah.
agree, Stanley.
I trust Rabbi Tubbs. I will make an agreement with Rabbi Tubbs, and I know he'll stand up for the agreement because he's an honorable person, right?
Mhm.
If
I agree.
made an agreement with Adolf Hitler, I wouldn't make an agreement with him. That's what Churchill was. All his life, he was a hawk, what they call
Yes.
a war hawk. In the First World War, he was head of the Admiralty of the Navy, and he had a big disaster in Turkey. And he took responsibility, and then he became a soldier in the trenches right afterwards. He went from headed Admiralty to the trenches.
I think he fought in the Boer War, didn't he?
Mhm.
I
So
think he
he
fought
knew
in South
Hitler,
Africa.
the type of Hitler, not to trust him.
Yeah.
And he was the right person at the right time. And he bowed out at the end of the war to be the right person.
Maybe Ronald Reagan's term, trust but verify. Remember that term? He
Yes.
made some arms agreements with Gorbachev. Gorbachev was a guy you could do business with. Gorbachev was a man who kept his word, which wasn't always true with the Soviets. But trust but verify. I think, but in his own way, I think Ronald Reagan was trying to do a little Moses and a little Aaron. Trust, that's Aaron. Verify, that was Moses. If we're going to make an arms agreement with you, we need to have people on the ground to be able to inspect, to make sure you're not doing something sneaky, right? That would be the Moses. That would be the Moses. So good.
I wonder if Moses and Aaron kind of accepted each other's role and knew when to step up or back away. You know what I mean? Maybe.
Yeah.
It's
Have you ever, all of us lean toward Moses or Aaron, I mean, it takes all sorts of kinds of personalities. Hopefully we all have a combination of the two, but it could be a 60-40 split, a 30, a 30-70 split, I don't know. You need, that would be a good meditation for you to go, well, am I a little more like Moses? Am I a stickler for things, or am I a compromiser like Aaron? And maybe I should be a little more like Moses. If I'm too wishy-washy, if I don't stand up, then hey, maybe I need to let the Moses in me come up once in a while, right? Or if I'm too much of a stickler and I'm obsessive compulsive and I'm always getting into fights, maybe I got to find the Aaron in me. Okay, that having been said, here's a question I throw out to you. You've all had partnerships of one kind or another. Okay, everybody's had some, whether in personal relationships, in offices or stores, or in businesses that you've been involved with. Have you ever been with a person who is quite different from you? Who and they may have annoyed you a little bit. Maybe they were the Moses to your Aaron, or the Aaron to your Moses. You thought they were too wishy-washy, or you thought they were too strict. But in the end, you kind of go, and you're looking back on it, you go, you know what? They were a good moderating force on me. Had I been left to my own devices.
I take that as a lesson. I take that as an experience and a lesson.
You don't want to surround yourself. Sometimes the best partner is not someone exactly like you. It could be quite different, to keep you on the,
Keep you on your toes.
Keep you on your toes, and you go, darn it, would you just leave me alone? And you go, later on, you go, I'm glad she said that.
Yeah, it makes you aware.
I'm not gonna give her the satisfaction of telling her she's right, but you know what?
Makes you aware of some of your, I don't want to say faults, but makes you aware.
Yeah, yes, and it brings you back to
the reality.
It brings you back to the center. I think moderation in all things is, sometimes you have to be a little radical. There's no question. There's sometimes when you have to put your foot down. Sorry, there's sometimes when you have to be the Moses. You go, no, I'm sorry. There's no compromise there. No.
Raising children, you're a Moses.
If you are an Aaron with your children will walk all over you and end up having much more psychotherapy than they would have been. They would have needed if you had been the Moses occasionally. You didn't give them structure, right? The Moses mother or father is the one who goes, you're going to bed at 7:30. I want to stay up till, why? Because I said so.
I always used to say, when you follow the rules of the house, everything's great. When you don't follow the rules of the house, that's when the problems begin.
Sorry, Schmendrick. You're going to bed. I hate you. Okay, hate me all you want. Hate me, that's fine. I love you. That's why I'm telling you to go to bed. I hate you. I hate your brooding. Okay, fine. That's the Moses. And then there's sometimes when you say, I'm grounding you for a month, and you go, oh my God, that means I'm
Punish
grounded for a
myself.
month. You go, oh my God. You know, that
Now, that's
it wasn't that
impulsive.
bad. In a moment, and then you go, okay, I got to be a little more Aaron. You go, okay, you're grounded for a week. No video games for a week. Or no, I'm giving you your cell phone back in 3 days. But just remember, you know, you got to do a little of the Aaron, right? You got to be a little finding that.
Kind.
Huh?
Being kinder. You know,
Kinder.
I mean, I think we become so angry that we just shout out anything.
Yep,
Barbara
We-
saying yes.
I
And-
agree.
And then we
that may be the-
realize that we have punished ourselves and we become more lenient.
Yeah, and that's, you know, that's maybe a little bit of the Moses in you,
Yeah.
you know?
Well,
What are
like
you
a-
going to say, Ursula?
No, it's the intention behind also. Like
Okay.
we have a framework. That's Moses, the law. This
Yes,
is the
yes.
frame. So
Yes.
now we can deviate.
We lost him.
But I like it. I like to have the law of the love. In my
That's
case.
Mishpat Shalom. Mishpat Shalom is the
So,
term
but-
in
but-
Zechariah.
Yeah, sometimes it doesn't work, but for me, I don't like the boom. You do this because I said so. I refuse that. Honestly, I refuse that. But yeah, I listen.
Yeah.
It's hard to be told what to do. It's hard to be told what to do
Yeah.
because we have a mind of our own, you know, and we think, you know, we want to do it our way.
Yeah. So there's such wisdom in this Torah portion, but you need to read it with the commentaries. You need a little Talmud and the Midrash to expand on it. And so, okay, I think this was a great discussion.
Yes.
Yeah.
Marlene
Mishpat
didn't say
Shalom.
a word.
Huh?
Marlene didn't say a word.
Or
Marlene?
Marlene.
Good morning.
That Marlene. Marlene
The other
wrote.
Marlene spoke too
He
much.
has
at the
wisdom.
time.
The other man. I thought of a funny story about, and I hope you can see the relationship.
Okay.
My mother was a notorious backseat driver. And I would drive her everywhere. And finally, I said, Mom, I know where I'm going. I know how to do this. So enough. She said, you're right. Okay. So next day we're driving around and I missed a turn. And I said, oh, gee, I've got to turn around. I missed a turn. She says, I know. I says, well, why didn't you say something? She says, you told me to stop. So I said, you can start again. So do you understand where I'm getting at? You know, it makes
You know,
sense.
Hoisted on your own petard. You ever hear that? You ever hear that expression?
Yes.
You were stabbed with your own sword. You were
Right.
hoisted on your own petard. Your mother was funny. I'm just saying, you told me not to say anything. All right.
You do that.
And my mother,
does that to me.
but my mother also never gave advice unless she was asked.
Wise lady.
She
Wise
was very,
lady.
yeah, yes.
So how is everyone doing?
We're doing well. I got my first shot.
You had your second
Yeah.
shot?
My
Yeah.
first. My
Your
first
first.
shot.
First, okay.
What shot did you get?
Pfizer.
Okay, so-
Pfizer.
So 3 weeks.
I'm 3 weeks out from my second Pfizer.
I get it on the 19th, my second one.
Oh, good. What about you two?
I took a shot of this. Did anybody get this? Did you get that with your hollers?
He was so quiet.
So last night I said, oh, it's Shabbos. So I tried it.
How was
And
it?
Rachel told me, she
Strong.
went up to the window. She said, it's very strong. I said, I can handle it. Because if I drink anything, I just drink it with ice. I don't do mixers or.
Yeah.
So I poured half of this little can over a bunch of ice. I nearly dropped over. I filled it all up because I never throw anything out. I filled the rest of the glass up with water and added more ice, and then it was pretty good. But you were
Now
talking.
I'm afraid to try it.
It's very, very strong. Mix it with some ginger ale and lots of ice or water.
Okay.
But
That's
I got the
funny.
Moderna shots. I'm 2 weeks. I'm in the clear, so to speak, now.
Yeah.
So So I'm
Okay,
going to-
Marlene, you got one, and Ursula and Betty are,
I got a letter from my doctor
Okay.
because I'm a high risk. So I will do that on Monday. I don't know,
Oh,
whatever
excellent.
vaccine is available.
you take whatever they're giving.
Yes, I won't
They
be-
have slightly different levels of efficacy, but you don't argue, just
Bottom
get it.
line is they all help.
They all help. And Betty, you're just a young and you're a
Yeah,
still
I have
young,
to
Betty.
wait until the,
You're
so
like-
to the general
you know,
public.
let me just give you, we've been working to try and get us as a site to be able to
Yes.
get.
Mhm.
And we're getting close. It could be in the next week or two.
Week.
We had the, we have a big parking lot, which is great for, and we have a walk-in refrigerator. We have a refrigerator room.
I miss
So-
visiting that walk-in refrigerator.
You know that
That.
I'm always worried someone is going to close the door behind me. Give an icicle.
But it's not a freezer. It's not a freezer.
Not a
It's-
It's not a freezer,
refrigerator.
but we had the state board of health here, or Department of Health here. They love us. No, they do. They came and inspected us and they said, we're going to be back with you. It would be a great site. And we're fairly sure that Temple Bethel is, we've said, can we give a certain priority to our congregants? And they said, yes, but you got to open it up, obviously, to the whole community
And
eventually.
that's great. There wasn't many options in East Hollywood or
No,
East Side,
at all.
nothing at all.
So
I mean,
what
I
we're
had to go
going to do, we're
Jackson.
going to make sure that all of our congregants, we got to stay with their regulations, but I think we're going to be able to get our congregants looked after and then open it up to everybody in the neighborhood. So it's not a done deal now, but it looks very good, and it'll and hopefully, and I think it's kind of a feather in our cap.
It is.
It is. I think that's great.
Yeah, but listen, don't tell anybody yet. It's
No.
not a done deal, but it looks really good.
Would they be using in the ballroom or the parking lot?
They're
Parking lot.
using, I believe, the parking lot. I don't know. It's up to them,
No, we
whatever they want.
just-
Whatever they want. They want to
Yeah.
set up little tents out here like they did in Markham Park, or they can use our ballroom, whatever they want. Maybe a combination of them both, but we want to just, we have this great facility and it's silly not to use it. I approached the county government about 6 weeks ago and I said, come on, guys. All I was trying to do was to get allocations. I wanted to get allocations, which means give me two. I have lots of people over 65. I mean, I would look at, that was the rule back then. You had to be over 65.
Yeah.
So I can locate lots of people over 65. Give me appointment times, and I can call up my people and say, hey, are you available at 4 o'clock? wherever it is, wasn't necessarily going to be. here.
Rabbi, that's how I got my appointment through my son. His secretary her father is a pastor, and he
Yeah.
was allotted so many shots, and they offered.
That's how I got mine. I got mine
Yeah.
through Beth Shalom on Miami Beach. I got connections there. They
Mhm.
had extra shots. They were given an allocation for
Right.
their congregants, and they had one left over. I'm not going
Well,
to say
that was how I got it.
That's
also,
how you got it.
my
And
son
so-
told me my son told me I had to be Lutheran. So I started to laugh. So I said, "Oh, gee, that means I just can't say a word. I'm not allowed to talk. They'll know me immediately."
Also,
Marlene, did you just get one shot, did you say?
I just got one, and I'm going for my next on March 19.
How do you say a
But you're
guitar
a
maker?
teacher.
I'm sorry.
How do you say a guitar maker? It sounds like Lutheran. Oh, gee. Somebody told me they were not a Lutheran. It's there's a name for people who make guitars. It's like oh, gee. So that's what you were. What I'm going to say. How do you say?
Well, that's what I was. And out I come with his birthday card, because he was offered it because they thought he was 55, but he wasn't. He was turning 55 3 days after. Okay. And he said, "Can I give it to my mom instead?" And they said, "Sure." So when he told me I had to be a Lutheran, I came out with my little necklace. And I said, "Look, I brought my rosary to be a Lutheran since I'm not allowed to speak." Kidding me.
But we're gonna give it to anybody, right? Any race,
Yeah.
any religion?
Yeah, of course. We have to make sure that everybody, but let's see. Oh,
I was just going to do that too. What's it called?
the
Rabbi?
word is let's see, wait a minute. It's spelled Luthier. That is the word meaning Lutheran, meaning a guitar maker.
Lutheria.
Luthier.
Luthier. So you can say,
Luthier.
"Oh, I thought you meant luthier." oh, I'm not a luthier. I'm a luthier. I make guitar. We had a guy here. We had a guy. Remember Nearest? He was
Yes,
a
who made-
luthier. A luthier. I said, "Well, you converted to Judaism, didn't you?" He said, "Yeah, no, I make guitars. I'm a luthier. Oh, okay. My guitar over here, he made. I got 2 guitars.
Well, listen, I read something yesterday. I don't remember which Jewish website, but I'm sure there's other people, but the one I read was about a bar mitzvah boy for his mitzvah project. It was another temple, Bethel.
Yes.
And for his bar mitzvah project, so far, he has helped 1,000 people get their vaccine appointment.
Wow.
And it was
Great.
also, I don't know if it was from Federation or if it was from the URJ. I just read it yesterday, and they said that the kid had his bar mitzvah, he was going to stop, and he said, no, I'll just keep going. These people.
What a
need
guy.
help.
What a kid.
That's great. That's great. I have to leave you. I have to leave you. I have my grandson's,
story.
one of my
Okay,
grandson's first birthdays. So I have to leave.
Oh, wonderful.
Stay well,
Wonderful.
stay safe. It was good to
See
be
you
with
soon.
you all again. Be well.
Okay, you gotta run?
I gotta run. I gotta first.
Okay.
And
Baruch atah
Barbara,
Adonai
Ann
Elohim
says hello
melech
to you.
asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'hitatef b'tzitzit. I'm just gonna get my guitar. I think we'll
The luthier.
play my guitar a little bit today.
I'll be right
Ursula.
back.
Okay, Ursula, doesn't your grandson, your grandson already had his birthday, right? Or he's
Yes,
the little one? Oh, okay.
in November 8th.
Oh, okay,
Wait,
okay.
which one is that?
The baby,
What's his name?
Liam,
My daughter's baby.
Yeah.
His name is Liam David,
Liam David.
but the Hebrew name that I gave him is Shlomo.
Ah, nice.
I'll be right back.
Okay.
La da 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 da. La da 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 da. La da 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 da.
Okay.
La da. La 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 la. 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 La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La la la. La 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 la. Rahmana. La 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 ya la 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 Keep on moving, keep on moving, keep on moving, keep on moving. La 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 Kine mato manai, Shabada Ikam Yakan, Kine mato manai, Shabada Ikam Yakan, Kine mato manai, Shabada Ikam Yakan, Kine mato manai, Shabada Ikam Yakan. Shabada Ikam Yakan. Shabada Ikam Yakan. Ine mato manai, Shabada Ikam Yakan. Ine mato manai, Shabada Ikam Yakan. Okay. Maya
Hayom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Maya
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat,
Mess.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Kol HaNeshama Tehaleya. Kol HaNeshama Tehaleya. Kol HaNeshama Tehaleya. Kol HaNeshama Tehaleya. Page 212. Baruch Now I can't remember the tune. Baruch
Sha'amar B'chaya
Ha'olam. Baruch. Thank you. Baruch. Baruch Sha'amar B'chaya Ha'olam. Baruch. Baruch. Baruch Hosei Bereshit. Baruch Omer Ve'osei. Baruch Gozer Mekayem. Baruch Merach Al Haaretz. Baruch Sha'amar B'chaya Ha'olam. Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu, Baruch Ata Adonai, Eloheinu Cholal Batishbachot. Thank you, Barbara. I just couldn't remember the tune.
Happens to me all the time.
No, what does that say? Okay. Page 215. Ashrei Yoshvei Beitecha. Od Yahalu Chatzela, Ashrei Am Shakachalo, Ashrei Am Shadonai Elohav, Tehillah David, Arumimcha Elohai HaMelech, Avracha Shimcha Leolam Va'ed, V'chol Yom Avreka, V'chalal Shimcha Leolam Va'ed, Gadol Adonai Mecholal Me'od, V'galato Ein Cheker, Dor lador shabach ma'asecha ugevaratecha yagidu. Let's go down to the bottom of page 216. Tehillat Adonai yedaber pi vayevarecho b'sar shem kodsho leolam va'ed v'anachnu nevarech ya v'yata v'ad olam. Hallelujah. 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 Bekocho. Hallelujah. Keria uzo. Hallelujah. Bikvuratav. Hallelujah. Kerov good Lord. Hallelujah. 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 Take a shofar. Hallelujah. Never there. Hallelujah. Tofu ma'od. Hallelujah. 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 Shabbat. Hallelujah. Through us. Kol Hanshama Til Hallelujah. Kol Hanshama Til Hallelujah. 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 Page 220. Betty, would you read that for us in the English, 220?
Yeah. Even if our mouths were full of song as the sea, and our tongues full of joy in countless waves, and our lips full of praise as wide as the sky's expanse, and were our eyes to shine like sun and moon, if our hands were spread out like heaven's eagles, and our feet swift like young deer, we could never thank you adequately, Adonai, our God and God of our ancestors, to bless your name for a thousandths of the many myriads of times you granted favors to our ancestors and to us.
It's the Marlene Rose, would you read 221 for us?
Therefore, these limbs which you have formed on us, and this spirit, wait a minute. I have to resort to my.
Okay, we have time.
And this spirit and soul that you breathed into our nostrils, this tongue which you have set in our mouths, they must acknowledge, bless, praise, and glorify your name, O our sovereign. For every mouth will acknowledge you, and every tongue pledge homage to you. Every knee bend in your presence, every upright person shall bow before you. Every heart will revere you, and every inmost thought will sing to your name. And David said, let all my bones exclaim, who is like you, Adonai? As David continued, bless Adonai, O my soul, and let my inner being praise your holy name.
The next page, 222, second paragraph. Shokenat maharom bekadosh shamo katuv raninu tzadikim ba'adonai leyesharim nava tehila befi yesharim titalav udivrei tzadikim tihitbarach uvelashon chasedim titromam ובקרב קדושים תתקדש, ומקלות רביבות, 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 עמך בית ישראל. ומקלות רביבות, 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 עמך בית ישראל. ברינה יתפאר שמך מלכנו בכל דור ודור, ברינה יתפאר שמך מלכנו בכל דור ודור, ישתבח שמך לעד מלכנו, האל המלך הגדול הקדוש בשמיים ובארץ, כי לך נאה אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו ואמותינו, שיר שבחה, הלל וזמרה, עוז הממשלה, נצח, גדולה וגברה, תהילה, תפארת, קדושות, מלכות, ברכות, והודעות מעתה ועד עולם. ברוך אתה אדוני, אל מלך גדול ותשבעות, אל ההודעות, אתון הנפלאות, הבוחר בשירי זמרה מלך אל חי העולמים. יתגדל ויתקדש שמרה, ילמד דברך חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחייכון בית ישראל. בגולה, בגולה, ובזמן קריבים. אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך, לעולם ומעל חיה, יתברך יתברך וישתבח, Ba'arit Urmam Vita
Vita
Vita Dar Vita Le Vita La Beit Kudesha Rihu Ela Min Kol Merchata V'Shirata Tush Bechata V'Nechemata Damiran Yalma V'Imanu Amen. And we rise for the Baruch Hu. Lie, 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 lie,
Yes, we'll be dropping.
lie. Stanley, would you read page 228?
228, just a second. 228. Praise are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, creator of light and darkness, who made peace and fashions all things. In mercy, you illumine the world and those who live upon it. In your goodness, you daily renew creation. How numerous are your words, Adonai. In wisdom, you form them all, filling the earth with your creatures. Be praised, Adonai, our God, for the excellent work of your hands and for the light you create. May I glorify you. Shine a new light upon Zion, that we all may swiftly merit in radiance. Praised are you, Adonai, creator of all heavenly life. Baruch atah Adonai, Tozer HaMashiach. Yes.
Page 230. V'harerenu b'toratecha v'dabek libeinu b'mitzvotecha v'yached levaveinu le'yahava u'lera et shemecha v'lo nebosh v'lo nikalem Veloni kashem le'olamod kiveshem kodshecha agadol v'hanora batachnu nagila v'nismecha v'shuatecha Ruchata Adonai Erbamo Yisrael Be'ahava Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי mitzavacha hayom alivavecha vishinantam levanecha adibata bam vashivtecha vavetecha uvalechtecha havaderech uvshochmecha uvkumecha ושרתם לעוד על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך, ויהי שמך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, הייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם, אני אדוני אלוהיכם. אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוקים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. 240, מי כמוך, מי כמוך, אדוני, מי כמוך, שמך על שפתיים Sur Yisrael, Uma B'Yisrael, Yisrael, Uvdei Chinumecha, Yehuda B'Yisrael, Go Aleinu, Adonai Tzvot Shemo, Kedosh Yisrael, Baruch Atah Adonai, God Yisrael. And we rise for the tefillah, page 244. Baruch atah
Adonai
Eloheinu Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Korban Omer Chasadim Tovim Kodeha Ezocher Kasdeha Umevi Doranehem Shemo El Kozer Moshiach Umagen Baruch Atah Magen Avraham Yitzchak Ani Aye Mekim Ramu Shiach Ruach Marin Hana Ekakem Hayem Ekaye So neck no holy Umatira Umekayem הכתוב על יד אליעזר וכרזה אל זה ויאמר קדוש 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 אדוני צבאות מלך כל הארץ וצבאות אדיר אדירנו אדוני אדוננו האדיר שמך בכל הארץ ברוך כבוד אדוני אחד אלוהינו הוא אבינו הוא מלכנו הוא מושיענו הוא ישנינו ברחמנו כל חייתי אדוני אלוהיכם. ימלוך אדוני אלוהי דור ודור.
Hallelujah.
ודור נגיד ונאמן אתה לדור ודור נגיד קדש ולנצח נצחים קדשה. יקינו לא ימוש לעולם. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. We turn to page 250. ישמחו במלכותך שומרי 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 עוני שבת. ישמחו במלכותך שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עוני שבת. מקדשי שביעי שבת. כולם יספעו ויתענגו מטובך שבת. ישמחו שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עוני שבת. ישמחו במלכותך שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עוני שבת. והשביעי רצית בו קידשתו שבת. עמדת ימין אותו קראת שבת.
ישמחו
במלכותך שומרי 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 שבת עוני שבת. ישמחו במלכותך שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עוני שבת. זכר למעשה בראשית שבת. זכר למעשה בראשית שבת. ישמחו במלכותך שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עוני שבת. זכר למעשה בראשית Shabbat. We offer thanks, O God, for this Shabbat, which unites us in faith and hope, for Shabbat holiness, which inspires sacred living, for Shabbat memories glowing even in darkness, for Shabbat peace, born of friendship and love. We offer thanks and blessing. O God, Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. We acknowledge with thanks that you are Adonai, our God, and the God of our ancestors. You are the rock of our lives and the shield of our salvation in every generation. Let us thank you and praise you for our lives which are in your hand, for our souls which are in your care, for your miracles that we experience every day, and for your wondrous deeds and favors at every time of day, evening, morning, and noon. O good one whose mercies never end, O compassionate one whose kindness never fails, we forever put our hope in you. For all these things, O God, let your name be forever praised and blessed. O God, our Redeemer and Helper, let all who live affirm you and praise your name in truth. Blessed are you, Adonai. Your name is goodness. You are worthy of thanksgiving. Baruch atah Adonai. Atov shimcha ulachana Eloheinu. Page 258. Sim
Sing.
Shalom. Sim shalom tova uvracha. Sim shalom tova uvracha. Kehen v'chesed v'rachamim alei al kol Yisrael amecha barcheinu yotzreinu kulanu kecha beor panecha. Sim shalom tova uvracha. Sim shalom tova uvracha. Baruch atah Adonai hamevarech et amo Yisrael b'shalom. So I thought we'd just take a few moments to be mindful, to be meditative. Just allow your eyes to close for a few moments. Put your feet flat on the floor. Sit up straight. Let your chin be parallel to the floor. And observe your breathing for a moment. Just notice how the breath enters and exits your body without any conscious effort on your part whatsoever. It's a gift from God. It is your soul entering and exiting and entering and exiting you. You breathe the universe, and the universe breathes you. So just for this day, just for this Shabbos, let us accept what is. Let us look around at reality, at our physical reality, and say, I accept this. This is what I accept. Our feelings, whatever our feelings might be, let's not fight them. Let's just say, okay, that's how I'm feeling today. Whatever thoughts come into our mind, we don't fight them. We just go, that's what I'm thinking. That's a thought that has entered my mind. And we keep in mind that our emotions are transitory. They come and go like waves on the seashore. And our thoughts are just thought, not reality, not real. They come and go, again, like waves at the beach. And on Shabbat, take time to observe and to accept and to bless all that is around us, to accept the many gifts that are ours. On Shabbat, we accept the things that we can't really change. We just accept them. We breathe into them. We breathe into reality. We make peace with ourselves, with each other, with the world. Breathe peacefully with every breath that you take in. Take in a little extra portion of that neshama which God promises all of us who keep Shabbat. May we be blessed with health, with prosperity, with purpose in our lives, with love, and with peace. Take a deep breath and release it. And we sing, oh, say, Shalom Bimromav, Uya say Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Yisrael, Ve'imru, Imru, Amen. Yah say Shalom, Yah say Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Yah say Shalom, Yah say Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, V'imru, Amen. And we rise for the Aleinu on page 586. Hello, son of Harato, hello, Samanu, Mishpachot Adama, hello, Samel, Begor Aleinu, Kol Hamonam, Anam, Mori, Mishpachot, B'nei Melech, Be'acham, Aruhu v'ne'emar v'haya Adonai l'melech al kol ha'aretz v'yom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shamo echad. The Mourner's Kaddish, 598. Yitkadal v'yitkadash v'rabah v'yamad v'rach yirutei v'yamlich malchut v'chaychon uv'yomechon uv'chayedecha beit Yisrael v'galav v'yizman karev v'imru amen Yehei shmei Rabba mevorach le'olam v'me'elamaya Yitbarach v'yitbarach v'yitma'ar v'yitmam Itadar, Itale, Itala, made Kuchabri, Leila Minko Berchata Veshirata, Tushbachata Venechamata, Damiran Bialmavi Rokin.
Amen.
Yehi Shlama Rabba Min Shmaya Bachayim Aleinu Bial, Kol Yisrael, Amen. O say Shalom Bimrumav, Ya say Shalom Aleinu Bial, Kol Yisrael, Amen.
You know, I was just thinking about, we lost a very lovely woman this week, Millicent Singer. Millicent
yes.
Singer was Eva's very, very
Very
dear
good,
friend.
yes.
Yes, and she lived 96 years, but
Yes.
will be missed by her friends and neighbors. Yes.
Yes. You know, she wasn't very religious.
Correct.
She didn't hold religion in great esteem. I
Yeah.
don't know what, but she liked us. She
Yes.
liked coming around.
She loved to
she
come to
tolerated
Bethel.
Tipple Bethel. And
Yeah.
well, you know, she saw some value in it, which was
Yes.
really kind. I don't argue with people. Believe in God, don't believe in God. That's your business. But everybody's welcome here. And she found a certain
Yes. She enjoyed
joy
the
here,
singing,
certain
the
acceptance.
music. Yes,
The
she was
music.
a music teacher herself.
Yeah.
Yes, yes,
Yeah, she was a lady with a lot of wisdom.
And
yes.
I lost a friend yesterday in
Oh.
Cleveland,
Lost a friend yesterday. What was
And
your
also-
friend's name?
Lois Weisberg.
Oh,
Oh,
Lois
I'm
Weisberg.
sorry.
Tell us about Lois.
It's too hard for me to tell you right now.
Okay,
Okay.
you'll tell us.
All right.
And Dr. Kaplowitz lost his mother earlier
Yeah.
this week, and I was so sorry that I couldn't officiate. But she was a lovely lady, Lois Kaplowitz, and but the technology, it's got its ups and its downs, but sometimes it's kind of nice. She was not doing well, I think on Monday. Yeah, oh no, on Sunday. So I called Barry just to see, and Barry said he was with his mother. I said, is she awake? And he said, yes. I said, may I FaceTime with her? So I FaceTimed with her, and she saw me and I saw her, and we talked. She was really glad, that I dropped in. And I said, Lois, may I give you a blessing? She said, yes, Rabbi. And so I blessed her. She thanked me. And Barry later on said that someone was in the room with her after I'd hung up, and said, I didn't know you were religious. And she says, I am Jewish. She said it with such passion. And then she passed away only a few hours later, after I had this nice conversation with her. Now, unfortunately, I couldn't be there to comfort my friend Barry, but Manny officiated, and I'm sure did a lovely job. Yeah, what were you going to say?
This week was my father's birthday.
This week
My
was
father
your
had no idea when he was born,
Yeah.
because he was born
Really?
with a midwife. He didn't even know the year. So
Was he born in the old country?
I call him up. This is a funny story. I call him up and I said, what date is your birthday? So the last time I called him up, he said March 3rd. So we took him out on March 3rd. We celebrated his birthday.
I know.
March 5th came. He calls me up angrily and he says, you did not call me today for my birthday. But that was my father. I was thinking about it this week when March 3rd came and March 5th came. All I know for certain that they told him he was born in porn.
Goodness days. And when you get to a certain age, you should have a birthday every day. Every day is my birthday.
I think he gave it to the Social Security. I think he made himself 2 years older somehow, because he had no idea what he was doing.
Well, Marlene, you were very quiet today, and now I see that you're very contemplative.
Yeah, you're contemplative. Yes.
I wish you a good day, and we'll talk to you later. We're thinking.
Yeah. When you want to tell us about your friend, we'd love to hear about her. And Stanley, I'm
Yes.
quite disappointed. You did not wish me happy birthday.
But did you have a good
My
trip?
birthday's May 4th.
I know. It's May.
You
Did you
know,
have
none of you
I wish
said
you
happy birthday.
right-
And I'm hurt.
I wish you a happy birthday right now, and I'll be early for next year.
Did you have a good trip, Rabbi? Did you and
I
Mara?
did. I like North Carolina a lot. I like Raleigh. It was in the 30s and 40s at night. But in the daytime, we had beautiful weather, got up to the low 70s.
Nice.
And I hung out with my grandson, Calvin, and he is a trip. It's a trip and a half. Mr.
Oh.
Professor, he knows everything.
Uh-huh.
And if
Yeah.
he doesn't know it, he makes it up. And he's interesting.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
he's got a good heart, and he's a sweet boy. And my daughter was working, and my son-in-law was working, so I didn't get a lot of. But they were glad, because he's he's at home so much. So I think I gave them a little break.
Yeah.
When Marilyn and I took Calvin out, and we
Yeah.
didn't do much. Went to the mall. We have our shots, and we
Yeah.
all wore a mask, so we went to the mall. We bought him sneakers and a sweatshirt for his birthday, and yeah, we just
Enjoyed.
went out to dinner and just hung out. Didn't matter what we did. We had
Yeah.
a good time.
Very good. Very
Okay. Do you have your
All right.
favorite libation?
Oh, I got my hot tea.
What do you got there, Marlene?
I got back to Bailey's.
Oh,
I've got
good.
to get some, but I must pick some up. I've been wanting it since you've
Get,
told me.
get the
St. Brennan's. It's cheaper.
the other brand. It's half the
Yeah,
price.
St.
of
Bre-
the-
St.
exactly
Brennan's.
the same.
You can
Okay.
get a bottle for about $12. It's about
Yeah.
$18 for Bailey's.
Yeah,
I can't tell the difference.
I can't eat.
What are you drinking there, Betty?
Moga David wine,
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
What a traditionalist.
my Kiddush cup.
What about you, Ursula? What are you drinking?
Drinking wine.
Starting early in the day.
I need that.
I'm a bourbon drinker, but a Pisca sour is kind of from, in your part of the world where you were born. Marilyn and I, you were from Ecuador, right?
Yes.
Well, we discovered Pisca sours in
Peru.
Peru, which is right
Yeah.
next door. Oh, what a nice drink. Whenever a Pisca sour, you got to go to a Peruvian restaurant to get. Do they drink them in Ecuador, Pisca
No,
sours?
Pisco no. Pisco
Oh,
no.
that's too bad.
We
Okay.
have the regular drink is, the cheapest is aguardiente.
It's called what?
Aguardiente.
Aguardiente.
Aguar, like
Agua.
agua,
Yeah,
Agua,
agua.
aguar.
ardiente, like fire.
Oh,
Ah, fire
Ardiente.
water.
You know,
Fire water.
I was in what is it? San Jose. What's the name of? I was in Puerto Rico. What's the city there?
San Juan.
San Juan. So no, it wasn't in San Juan. It was in
Jose.
Santo Domingo. I was in Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic. I was there once. So Marilyn and I we went into a store to buy souvenirs, and somebody came up to me and very quietly said, "Do you want some Mama Juana?" I said, "No." I said, "Are you sure? We all do. We all enjoy Mama Juana here." I said, "Listen, I'm really not interested. That's the last thing I need to get busted in a foreign country, right? You never see me. Come on, Mama Juana. Why don't you like Mama?" And what he was saying, he wasn't saying marijuana. Mama Juana is the national drink of the Dominican Republic. It's this beautiful wine that they make from honey. And I was starting to get a little indignant. I said, "Listen, leave me alone. I do not want to." And he was saying, "What's wrong?" Well, he was, and it was the storekeeper. And so, that's when you know,
You gotta
it
watch
was a
it.
failure to communicate. But Mama Juana, not
Mama.
marijuana, Mama Juana.
Juana.
So if you're in the Dominican Republic and they offer you Mama Juana, it's a nice drink. Okay.
Enjoy.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei b'riat hafen. Amen.
Fire.
Good. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Usually I buy those little brilliant rolls
Oh.
because if I have too much, if I have a big,
Mm.
I'll probably eat it before the weekend's out.
Yes, Yeah.
So I buy the little braided rolls. Annie's, you can get them. Like
Mhm.
little miniature challahs. Okay, I am so grateful to have you as
And
congregants and
likewise.
friends and people that I can study with. I hope you enjoyed the our discussion. I know I did, and it's
I
great to
learned a
go.
lot. I learned a
Yeah.
lot.
Me too.
Well, my computer that's only a few months old is going in for a checkup in about an
Ooh.
hour. I keep getting viruses, or so it says, so I have to bring it in for a checkup. So that's,
Okay. Well, I hope they, I hope it's nothing too
yes, rigorous.
rigorous.
Get it a shot.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'll see if she's eligible for a vaccine. All right.